against the AFC, I mean, you got the Chiefs. They manhandled the Chiefs. That wasn't even remotely close. Like, who else in the AFC are really worried about? The Steelers? No, come on. We saw that yesterday. They suck. Chargers suck. They got blown out yesterday.
Yeah.
Ravens, maybe the Ravens, but like other than that, I mean, what
Yeah,
competition are they worried about?
Get ready. Class is about to begin. With three white dudes coming at you with some heat. Welcome to the School of Hot Takes.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back with another episode of the School of Hot Takes. I got myself, my other co-host Dylan, and tonight we have a very special guest, the one and only Ryan. Thank you for joining us. Welcome
Hey,
to the podcast.
hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.
Perfect. We look forward
Yeah.
to some great hot takes from you. Dylan, I'm getting tired of everything he says, so I'm looking for a little bit of fresh
Sure.
perspective here.
Hey, I don't
So
blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's
But
facts. It's facts.
yeah, what's new with you guys? What do we got going on?
just enjoying some football, busy with work and the gym and everything else. Just unfortunately can't
Uh,
watch as much football as I want, but getting all the key pieces and games in that I can. So,
Yeah, I know. Me too. I wish I could watch more football,
right,
but these past games this weekend, some of them good, some of them bad.
right.
yeah, I'm also currently sucking at fantasy football, so that's always great.
Eric and I were in neck and neck.
hmm I
I
saw
think he
that
needs
matchup.
one catch from Brock Bowers.
My kicker did dominate in the shit bowl. I did want to let everyone know that though. So fuck
Mine
yeah.
would have.
Yeah, he got what,
Who-
18 points?
Aubrey, I don't know. He tried for a 70
Yeah, yeah,
yarder,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, in my other league, I picked him up, and in our other league, if your kicker breaks the record, you get an automatic 100 points. So I was really hoping that would happen because that'd be
Right.
As it
cool.
should.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But he didn't. So
Sad. All
yeah,
right, well, let's get into well, not the main topic here first. Of course, we have to start out with the hot take of the week. And as always, we usually let our guest give the hot take. So, Ryan, take it away.
Okay, so I'm gonna read off a few stats first.
hmm
It's kind of like a blind resume
Okay.
type thing. It's kind of tough. I wish I kind of had like a cutout to like show you these
Right.
stats just so you had them, but I can repeat any. But I want you to choose who you would like to have as your quarterback. Okay,
Okay.
quarterback one. Passing yards this season so far, 3,350. Touchdowns, 22. Interceptions, 11. Okay, that's quarterback one.
hmm
Quarterback two is 2,892 yards, 18 touchdowns, and five interceptions. Okay, everybody got that?
hmm
Quarterback three, 3,300 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. What one would you choose?
Personally, I'd go with number two. Just
Okay,
lowest
okay.
amount of interceptions, still a high number of touchdowns. Yardage, I feel like isn't as important if you're still converting everything from touchdown to interception ratio.
Okay. Fair.
give me three.
You
Give me
want
three.
three.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
out of these quarterbacks, quarterback one, Patrick Mahomes.
hmm
Quarterback two, Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Quarterback three, Sam Darnold.
Let's go,
With that,
Sam.
that's kind of where I'm segueing to is these stats right now. Sam Darnold starting QB. He should be a starting QB next year. JJ McCarthy, haven't seen him, but if it if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not a bad idea. Maybe have him sit out another year. I know you wasted a draft pick, but my hot take is Sam Darnold is a starting QB.
Hmm. I I am not a Sam Darnold believer. I
He's,
do not
he's,
like I think he's having like a wonder year. I'm still on the when is he gonna fail and be like old Sam Darnold train. Like I've been on that all season. This, like I said, could be the wonder year, and
What
next
week
year
we
he
in?
could suck again. So
I agree. Yeah, we're in week 15. Like, I think we would have saw it would have happened. I mean, look at the research where we saw what Baker Mayfield now has done it. Geno Smith's now done it. Like a lot of these guys that we wrote off, they're back. They're back at it. I think it's going to start being a trend. Like these guys are going to get second chances later on in their career. I think he's the real deal. Like, absolutely. I don't know what you do with JJ McCarthy. Like, do you let him sit for 3 years? Do they give him like a 3 4 year deal? Like that would be tough, but I think you need to do it.
Well, I mean, in terms of deal, I think you don't even think about money right now. You think about winning. Like that's the main goal of all NFL teams is to win, right? Who's
Right.
winning right now? Sam Darnold. Like those two Jalen Hurts, he's not like a phenomenal quarterback. He gets it done. He wins.
Right.
Sam Darnold. Like we just have, especially in our younger years, we saw Sam Darnold with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
So right now, if a quarterback wants to go and die, you go to the New York Jets. So
Jets, Giants, any like Panthers, maybe. Oh, any of those awful
yeah,
teams who just can't do anything. So,
I mean, right now we're seeing resurgence in Bryce Young. Now, like everybody's way too quick to write off a quarterback, especially when they're young.
mhm.
Bryce Young, 20, not even like 24,
Yeah.
younger than me. If I got fired after not knowing my job for 6 months, I'd never have a job. I think we have a
Right.
development problem. But in terms of Sam Darnold being a starting quarterback, he's second behind Lamar Jackson in passing yards per attempt.
Mhm.
That means he's taking deep shots, taking risks, and completing it. He has 68% completion percentage. Pretty solid. Fifth in touchdowns and 10th in passing yards. So maybe fluky if you have like one of those stats high up, but all of them top 10 right now. Top 10,
I
very consistent. He had one, two, I don't even think he had two bad games. He had one bad game, and believe they won. Let me double check
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah, he threw like three picks. I think wasn't it against the Titans or something like that, or Jags, one of those two, where he had like
maybe.
an
yeah,
awful game.
I believe it was Jack, and that might have been a London game.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, that's what I got. I mean, Sam Darnold, he's proved it. If it's not for the Vikings, he needs to go to a team that, honestly, like the Giants. Giants, if
yeah.
they're not looking for a quarterback this year, Sam Darnold, Giants
Honestly,
could
ship him back to the Jets. Let's just
ship him back to the Jets. Now that's yeah, actually, I would want to see that. Kind of show what he's got now.
right.
Oh, if you're,
That would actually be the like common denominator right there is like he's doing good now, ship him back to the Jets. He does terrible, it's the Jets.
Hmm.
yeah, I think um, if I were Sam, I would be like pleading to stay on the Vikings, like 1,000,000%. I would
Right.
be absolutely be like, yo, I'll take like a shit deal. I don't even care. Like, I want to stay here because he's having his best years of his career. Who's to say he goes somewhere else that is like a shit squad
I
team
mean,
and they completely ruin him?
like you look at like he could take them very far in the playoffs. Like you see it with Nick Foles with the Eagles, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Team gets hot, you get hot, they rally behind their guy. Um, but I think I'm liking Sam Darnold. If I had in my super flex, I would have definitely drafted him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's just something about him that I can't get behind yet, and I don't know.
Oh, it's the
I,
way he
I don't
looks.
think he's a good long-term solution. Like I don't think he's going to be the future of the franchise for the next 10
he's
years or so.
27
Like
years. He's 27 years old. Why can't he be?
I understand. I don't think he'll stay, like I said, with the Vikings for, you know, the rest of his career or something
No,
along those lines. Like,
that's fine, but I'm petitioning for Sam Darnold starting job. Browns maybe.
I'd actually like to see him on the Colts. I think the Colts would be incredible.
No, now you're just being crazy. Don't get me
I
wrong, Anthony Richardson not great, but he's also
So yeah,
20.
he's
He can't
super
even drink
super
alcohol
young.
yet.
Yes,
So
super
yeah.
young. Yeah, I just thought with the weapons there, I think it'd be super fun to just see him sling it to
kind
all
of
of those
I mean
guys.
this kind of all leads into I do love Sam Darnold right now, but QB development problem. think about it. You had Baker Mayfield, quick to
Hmm.
leave on him. Give him 3 years, 4 years. Now look
Right.
at him. So everybody would be like, I'd love to have Baker Mayfield.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I think the same thing is going to having the same Sam Darnold here, where 1 year, 2 years more down the line, you're like, wow, I wish we would have had Sam Darnold for, you know, I honestly like Colts 2 years ago, Colts fan. I wish we had Sam Darnold 2 years ago. Try him out. It's better than Philip Rivers, Matt Ryan,
Right.
Joe
Wait,
Flacco all the time.
you're a
That's why I
Colts
don't
fan?
mind the young guy. Let the young guys fail for two. I would say give them 2.5 years. If they show no improvement, then it's something. But we're counting guys off after 6 months,
Right.
not even a
Yeah.
full year.
A lot of these teams, like you said, don't give them time to develop. Like it's a hard transition from college to NFL. Like very rarely do these quarterbacks just come in and play well. Like we're seeing that with Caleb Williams right now. He was supposed to be like this prodigy for the Bears, and he's struggling this year quite a lot. And I'm sure I don't think the Bears are going to give up on him as quick as some of these other teams do. But I mean, in 2 or 3 years, if Caleb Williams is still there, I think he's going to be really good for the Bears if they can build around him.
I agree. I definitely agree. Like you have flashes, you're gonna have rookie mistakes,
Hmm.
obviously, but it's learning from those mistakes. If you it's like any other job. You
Right.
continuously repeat those mistakes, then it's a problem. Two, three times, especially in a high, fast-paced football game, everybody's the same speed. I don't care if you're the Giants, Panthers, or the Chiefs. Everybody's a professional football player.
Hmm.
They all share that same speed, athleticism. Sometimes guys just it clicks faster, like CJ Stroud.
Hmm.
It clicked right for him, and that's just honestly luck sometimes.
Right.
Because
Yeah, having a
sometimes
good, I
just
think good coach too, like a good coach, good organization. Like some of those guys, like Sam Darnold got drafted to the Jets, and there's really not much he could do about that. Baker to the Browns, like those are two of the classic franchises that ruin every QB. Same thing with the Bears. So it's
right.
not it's not crazy that all these QBs struggle when they go there.
Right. One thing I wanted to mention, uh, we touched on it a little bit, was the JJ McCarthy problem here. Um, I think it's actually beneficial for the Vikings to keep him on some sort of like 3 to 4 year deal as a backup right now and sort of treat it like a Jordan Love situation where if if Sam Darnold can be good enough, where he's going to win a lot of most games, I'd say, and perform well, but he's not going to be like that 10-year franchise like face that you guys want. Then, get rid of him after 5, 6 years and transition into JJ McCarthy, who's gonna know the system, knows all the players, knows the coaching staff, like, and is ready to rock and roll. Like, I think the Vikings, if they play it right, could be set up for a long future success here.
Can you imagine a
Agreed.
6 year benching of JJ McCarthy would be insane. That would be so crazy. I
It
I
would
don't
be, but it happens sometimes though. Like, it just,
Yeah.
even Jordan
There
Jordan
has to
Love
be a
was three.
threshold though. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
3 year I would say 3 years is about, especially if you're a first round pick, three
Hmm.
years is absolute max. Now if you're like a fourth round pick,
Right,
oh yeah.
you kind of have to, but if you're first round,
right.
you're betting on yourself. You have to bet on yourself.
Hmm.
Well,
Uh,
too, like there were what, six QBs taking that first round, and the league average I think is what, 2 to 3 are good.
First,
So
yeah.
like we've seen 3 or 4 look pretty good right now. What are the odds that all of them are good? Like we haven't seen Michael Penix, we haven't seen JJ. Like those
Right.
two, like what are the odds that all of them are good? That's insane if it is. Like that'll be what a historic draft class of
Hmm.
I
QBs.
think the other one, like the Philip Rivers draft class, like I think that didn't that have like Ben Roethlisberger,
Yeah,
all those. I think
Right.
that was about the most stacked one,
yeah,
In
uh,
recent memory, at least.
and that might have been 4 or 5, kind of like you're
yeah,
saying. Like, what
Right.
are the chances? Uh, I mean, most drafts you're lucky you have one,
yeah. Like,
two guys,
Hmm.
quarterbacks,
mhm.
Right.
anything else, but quarterback wise, that even stay in the league for over 5 years as a starter.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can have your good backups. You have like Jameis Winston right now. Uh, who is the other couple good ones? Like Drew Lock.
Yeah.
They were drafted, but decent backups get you tread water. Tread water. That's kind
Right.
of
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we've mentioned this before on the podcast that we think we'll see a lot of teams transition into having a solid backup just in case of injuries or, if your starter's having a bad 3 game stretch or something, like just rotate him out for like half a game or something and let the backup come in and play or
yeah,
something along those
but you
lines. You know what I
got
mean?
like I don't mind that. Having a good backup is never hurts, especially if you're a
Right.
playoff team like the
hmm
Chiefs.
Hmm.
But I don't think having a decent backup quarterback for like the Panthers is necessarily like always great. But I don't know.
yeah.
I feel like quarterback's way too overpaid right now.
Right.
Oh hell yeah!
You know
Thank
what
you.
like you're spending half your cap on a quarterback. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Brock Purdy. Like they project him to be the highest paid quarterback, and he's
Not worth it.
not worth it. But like the way the market goes, he's up there in terms of Jalen Hurts, Josh
Hmm.
Allen money, Patrick Mahomes. Even like people are out 5 years down the road, people are going to have a higher contract than Patrick Mahomes,
Right.
just inflation.
Well,
But
this is what we talked about. We've talked about before. When do the teams finally like put a foot down? Like maybe to Brock Purdy, just be like, hey, we're not giving you 60 million a year. We don't like you're just not worth it. Sorry, like go test free agency, sure. But like we'll give you 40. We'll give you
I
a
think it
good
takes
deal.
a quarterback to do that, like a quarterback to step up, set the precedent for that. Maybe Brock Purdy is like, say Brock Purdy comes in and says, "Hey, I know you guys want to offer me 40 million a year. I'll take 20. Go get
Other
X and
players,
X
like,
that we need that he can visually see on the field. Say we need a left guard, right guard.
Yeah, I mean
go
Tom
get
Go
Brady
spend
did
that
it for
money."
years.
Exactly, but nobody ever talks about that. Everybody says
Mhm.
Tom Brady, great quarterback, very good quarterback, but he also played in part of the team building, like taking a
Right.
pay
Yeah,
cut, paying slightly, even your depth at that point. Like you have your backup cornerbacks, you can pay a little bit more to odd and end guys that make that big difference.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, quarterbacks make a huge difference, but you can win and lose a game on a botched field goal. So
Right.
yeah. I think Brady was only top five in like pay. Maybe I think they said 5 seasons out of total out of the 22 or whatever. So I mean, yeah, like that's I don't know why QBs don't do like I thought Joe Burrow was absolutely going to do that so he could keep T Higgins and Jamar Chase more easily.
Hmm.
Uh, but he hasn't done that apparently. I mean, he took a big ass deal, so we'll see.
yeah, huge. I mean, that's kind of we're like quarterback market right now. Very, I don't know,
Screwy.
volatile. I would say.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
got
like
Trevor Lawrence that made like 200 million. He hasn't. What has he shown? Like, I have
Right.
no idea.
I was never huge Trevor Lawrence. I also loved Baker Mayfield. People always
Right.
clown me now, but like you guys said, 3 4 years down the line, or even Mitch said with Sam Darnold, could be just a hot year.
Right.
It very well could be, but like I'm my job. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Facts.
All
I
right,
agree.
well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast here. We are going to discuss this past weekend's games. I think I can say for all of us, there were some bad games, but the good games that were out there, these were like Super Bowl matchups that you would want to see. Like some of these games were just you had to watch, sort of thing. We're going to touch on 3 of them here, and then maybe a few key highlights and stuff from other games. But Dill, why don't you go ahead and get us started here on why you wanted to discuss the Bills and Lions here?
Okay, so I got my little list here pulled up. Yeah, I want to talk about the Bills Lions one because I thought it was going to be a bit more competitive than it was. I mean, the score is one thing, but really it was just like the Lions playing from behind the whole time. Bills were never in doubt the entire time, which kind of leads me to my first point here. I'm not really sure what happened, but the Bills are they're going crazy right now. They are probably the hottest team in the NFL. So that's why I kind of want to talk about this game, just the resurgence of them from last year. Like they do this every year where they're really hot in the beginning, but then they really cool off at the end of the year. Whereas this year they're just continually going up. James Cook is looking really good. Obviously, Josh Allen has been incredible. He's probably got MVP locked up. But more so on the other side, on the Lions side, I've never seen a team have 17 guys on IR that are like all starters. Like this is insane. Like I was
Right.
just that's what I was pulling up was their IR list, and now David Montgomery's on there,
Is
Carlton
he? Did
Davis,
he?
Yeah,
What
I
happened to
think
yeah,
him?
I think David Montgomery's out for the season now, isn't he?
yeah, MCL, Khalil Dorsey, the
Oh,
guy we saw yesterday that literally like broke his leg in half,
Right.
disgusting. Carlton
yep.
Davis was out. So like all these injuries, they're up to 17, 17. So either first string or second string guys. That's insane. It's terrible to watch a team like that kind of just like get decimated. But what's crazy is like their offense is still so good, and for some
Right.
reason they really haven't lost that many offensive guys that they just keep on producing, at least on the offensive side. It's just the defensive side is just destroyed. So they can't really play defense anymore, but
Hmm.
somehow they're still able to kind of stay in some of these games. So
Right.
I'm, I'm
I
impressed.
I was gonna say I think the Lions are going to run into some trouble here in the playoffs. Like if they can't get those defensive stops, like yes, they can score offensively, but if they just can't stop the other team whatsoever, like
Hmm.
you would almost have to score every offensive drive then. And the
Yeah.
Lions could do it, but like you said, even with some key offensive guys out, it's going to be a struggle and not as guaranteed as what we may have seen in some of these earlier weeks.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Lions are about the only team right now that if you just gave the other team 7 points, that they would have a chance just to go back and forth, score for score.
Hmm.
Uh, is it, I guess, realistic to do? No, but they're the only team that kind of shows that fight
Right.
to do it.
Um, the Bills as well. It's
Dude, they're crazy right now. Josh Allen is doing like
offensively they are though.
insane.
Defensively, I don't think throughout the season they've been that impressive though. Like if you're consistently allowing teams to score 30 plus points, and of course there's those games where they only allow, 10,
Yeah. Yeah.
20 points, but like, if you're allowing some of these teams to score 30 plus points on you, like almost every week, that's not I wouldn't say that's like a good representation of a team that can win the Super Bowl, I guess. Like
I think
crazy things
actually
have
it is.
happened.
I
I could
agree.
see
I
them
agree,
winning.
Mitch.
Yeah, I,
I'm
I could
kind
see
of
the
on.
Bills winning the Super Bowl at this point. Like they're good
Yeah.
enough to do it, but when they play some of these tough teams in the playoffs where it's back-to-back tough games, like some of those defensive guys are going to get even more tired and allow more points, and the offense is going to have to work even harder. So it's that like catch 22 type thing.
I'm
Nope.
kind of on the other
Agree.
side. Like I think it's more impressive because they've shown they can do both. Like they've held teams to 10 points and also
Mhm.
gotten in these crazy shootout games. I saw yesterday a stat they're the first team to give up back-to-back 40-point games, but also the first team to score back-to-back 40-point games in
Right.
those. So like that's a crazy stat to even have to score in two games 90 points. Like that's insane.
Mhm.
But they've like you said, they've also had games where they've held guys to 10 points and they've kind of been known for their defense. So I'm not too worried about their defense. Their secondary is definitely not as good as it used to. They lost all of their secondary pieces last year, so that kind of sucks for them. But
Mhm.
even so, like they're still their front seven is really good. Corners are rough, and so are their safeties. But like they're something, and I think against the AFC, I like. I mean, you got the Chiefs. They manhandled the Chiefs. That wasn't even remotely close. Like, who else in the AFC are really worried about the Steelers? Now, come on, we saw that yesterday. They suck. Chargers suck. They got blown out yesterday.
Yeah.
Ravens, maybe the Ravens, but like other than that, I mean, what
Yeah.
competition are they worried about?
The Ravens. Yeah, I mean, I'm going back off when your Josh Allen wrapped up MVP. I think Lamar just throwing 5 touchdowns just kind of brought him back. He's
Yeah,
having a stellar season. Um, so
I
I
think
think it's between him and Josh Allen at this point, right?
Right.
yeah, but I just think at this point, like they're not. If it's between giving Lamar three straight or giving Josh Allen, who's been second three straight times, I just think based on every other awards we've ever seen with like NBA or any of those others, they just so much more willing now to be like, all right, we'll give it to Josh Allen, fine.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Right.
The Michael Jordan, kind of like the Michael Jordan
Yeah.
fatigue. Yeah, I agree.
Like
I
Joker,
agree.
we saw the Joker three. He could have won three straight. They gave it to Joel Embiid. What was that? 2 years ago. They were like, all right,
Yeah, he's not
fine.
good.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I actually agree. The MVP voting fatigue. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
actually a good call.
which brings up another conversation. I really do think, like in baseball, how they just have like a pitcher designated award. Like there should just be like a I don't know, Tom Brady, John Elway, or whatever for the quarterback, and then we can get back to like most valuable player because it's not always like
For sure.
Saquon has been crazy this year, but he probably won't get a chance
Right.
because it's a
Agreed.
quarterback dominated award. Like
Hmm.
I agree with
award.
that.
One thing I wanted to touch here, I mean, the Bills have secured the playoffs, but
Yep.
I think one thing that might benefit them going into this is their last three games here. They play the Patriots, Jets, and then Patriots again. Like they could rest most of their starters, maybe not the whole game, obviously, but like, you know, play the starters for half a game, let the bench players come in, and those bench players could probably still beat those teams. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's definitely close. Who's their backup QB? Like that's what I want
I
to.
thought it was
Who is
Mitch
it?
Trubisky.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is
I
now.
think you're
Yeah.
right. Well,
He
they
went
can't
back to
bench him. I'm
Buffalo.
sorry. Yeah, they can't bench him. Like he sucks, Mitch. Come on, he's
I
bad.
think Mitch is okay. He's not
He is not a good backup.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I would actually consider him a great backup because
Really? Oh God.
yeah, because you want a backup quarterback to run basically a similar offense to what your starting quarterback does. Mitch Trubisky can run. Josh,
True.
like, don't get me wrong, like Josh Allen, very good runner, but he's a different runner than Lamar. But
Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky and Josh Allen have that same type esque running style. Josh Allen way more athletic, physical,
Yeah.
but he can still run that offense, tread water if needed to keep those. You have those like fringe starters or whatever. Keep them
Yeah.
fresh. Like you're not running different stuff. You're giving the same looks to everybody because in that event someone does get injured, has come in. Oh, I ran this play. It's just with Josh Allen now instead of Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. And it does help. They have a much better running game than they've had in the past. They have two really good running backs now. Davis, the rookie, I don't know where he came from, but and then James Cook has been balling out of control.
Also, I want to say something about James Cook. I didn't even realize him and Dalvin are brothers until this year.
Yeah, yeah. I remember someone making a big deal when he first 3 years ago when he first came in the league, and everyone was like, "Oh, he was going to be really good," and then he kind of sucked his first year. But then last year he was starting to be pretty good, and everyone's like, "Okay, okay," and then now you're seeing it like, dude, this guy's going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just good athlete, athletic
Hmm.
genes in the family.
Yeah, I
But
don't have much more else to say about Bills Lions.
no,
I just thought it was a
that
good
was a
game.
shootout. That was a shootout
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
a
I mean,
half.
this if this was the Super Bowl matchup, how excited would you be for it, Dill?
Well, I did bet it. Like obviously you said well, we made our Super Bowl picks last week, and this was
Hmm.
my Super Bowl pick was Bills Lions. So it makes me a little more sad now that the Lions are so decimated with injury. But if we get to see that again, the Super Bowl, like that's a fun Super Bowl. I don't
Right.
really care. Like that's a fun
Different and
ass Super
fun. I
Bowl.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would be just happy if either team won it, like at this
Yeah,
point.
it's different teams. Yeah.
Yeah, agree, agree.
Cool. All right, well, I will get into why I chose the Panthers and Cowboys here. And it's not necessarily for the meaning of the game or the outcome or anything along those lines. It's more focusing on the players and their performance in this game. And I have just some questions I want to pose to you guys about it. So we've seen Bryce Young sort of have like a resurgence, like we said earlier, this game against, a weaker Dallas Cowboys team. Um, didn't have the best of games. So what do we think's going on with Bryce Young there? Because I don't know that he is still going to be their starter next year. I'm still questioning it. I don't know that he's secured that job even with his little bit of resurgence. Like, I just think this game was one of those games that you needed to, dominate, and he just did not do that. Like it was kind of a poor showing.
Well, I mean, did you see the Panthers O line is objectively it's terrible. Like it's
Right.
really bad. I think they rushed six basically the whole game, which is kind of unstoppable. Micah Parsons finally back healthy. They had some other guys finally back healthy. Like I don't think it was Bryce Young really this time is where he had no time. If you like watch the game, he
Hmm.
had less than 2 seconds every time. That's hard no matter who you are. Now put on top of it, he's 5'9". So like good luck
Right.
trying to,
5'10". Put
you're
respect on it.
5'10". Sorry, 5'10". Trying to like that's just really hard. But yeah, I did expect him to do a lot better. I thought he was going to win the game, but with the rush like that, like the Cowboys are playing still for something. Like they still have I think they have a small chance to still
Right.
like
I
get in the
think they're
playoffs.
like way in the hunt or something like that. They have to like win out and
Yeah,
hope other teams lose out. But sort of gets into my other point here of why I think the Cowboys are trying to win as many games as possible. It's a theory. I want you to uh, hear me out here. But I think the Cowboys' playoff chances are like so low. I don't think they're really fighting for that at the this point in the season. Like sure it could happen, but I don't think that's like their main focus. I think it's more showing or like trying to see what Cooper Rush can do because I think there's going to be a serious conversation next season whether to keep Dak or keep Cooper Rush as the
Trey
starter.
Lance, why not Trey Lance?
I hate Trey Lance. He sucks.
I mean, how much have we seen of Trey Lance?
yeah, I agree. He's never really gotten a chance for more than literally what, a game, 2 games
He
ever.
he got
I
injured like the what first week he played,
True. But I
and
think
then never really had another shot.
right. But I
Mitch,
think
I'm confused, Mitch, about the question because is Dak not now the highest paid quarterback in the league? How would they
he
get rid of
is,
him? I
but
don't
Cooper
understand that.
Rush has been playing very well since he's been starting. I mean, he
I
has
mean, he's played good. This was the only good game.
well,
This was the only good game.
let me
No.
been playing well though. I've just looked it up. He's got about 1,800 passing yards, 10
Yeah,
touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Like
Yeah, I
that's
agree with
pretty good
Mitch.
yeah,
stats. Like
yeah. He's okay, but like, are you comparing that to Dak? Last year, Dak led in all categories. I think. Like, I don't even like
well,
Dak,
so
but
here's what I'm
really,
thinking.
between Cooper Rush,
Here's what I'm thinking. If they are really testing Cooper here to see if he can do well for the rest of the season and compete for a quarterback spot, because I think if they can save money by shipping Dak away or cutting him or like whatever they need to do with his contract to save money and build around the Cowboys, I think they could get away with keeping Cooper Rush as the starter and building elsewhere by getting rid of Dak. So I think this is like them testing the waters with what Cooper Rush can actually do as a starter.
Or okay, yes, counterpoint to that. I agree, like seeing what Cooper Rush can do, but almost like a Jimmy Garoppolo situation is
Potentially.
you kind of want your backup quarterback to do very well, obviously.
Hmm.
But if you know you're not gonna keep him, or if he has that, I don't know, like resurgence type like thing, or
Hmm.
has like that competing nature with that starting quarterback, and you know that starting quarterback is your guy, trade him off. You get draft picks like Jimmy
Right.
G
And
and Tom Brady. Like
right,
that's kind of what teams' dreams are for that scenario,
right.
because he's 31. He's not a
And
future quarterback.
I'm not saying he is like the long-term
Okay.
future here. I'm just saying if they can save money by getting rid of Dak, keep Cooper Rush as the starter
you
for
can't.
next year or even two, and then draft a quarterback that's going to be their next future, where they can
You
save money
can't.
by doing that. I
You
think it,
can't get rid of Dak though. You can't. He has 240 million. Where are they? How are you?
Is that
You can't save
guaranteed?
money. 200 of it's guaranteed. So like
Oh
you're not
yeah.
Mhm.
saving money to go off a worse quarterback. Like no matter what, Cooper Rush is worse than Dak Prescott. So you'd be spending $200 million to get rid of a quarterback that's better than the quarterback you're going for, and he's 31. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand. I don't
Mhm.
understand any of this. Why would they do that?
I was just throwing it out there. I mean, it sounded good in my head, and I can see why the Cowboys, because like we talked about this in a few episodes before, Dill. Like, why are the Cowboys even trying to win at this point? Like, it would benefit them to
Oh
lose
yeah,
Mike
get him in
a
a
McCarthy's
draft.
better
job.
draft pick. Like,
Mike
Yeah, Mike
McCarthy's
McCarthy.
job.
Yeah,
He
he
he's
definitely.
coaching for his job. The player, he's literally just coaching for his job at this point.
right.
Yeah, and
That's the reason why I think they 100% they're trying to win. It's more pride, like
Hmm.
Cowboys pride, baby. Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers.
Right.
All
yeah,
winners.
I think Cooper Rush is like the classic example of like a good backup, but I don't
Yeah,
think if he gets prime time spots like for 17 games, I just don't see him having. I think he's one of those guys. Once you figure him out, one, he's not mobile, so like that, it's basically like having Kirk Cousins back there. Like he's pretty accurate. I'll give him that, but I think when he starts getting flustered, he's like, oh shit. Well, then he's going to start throwing the picks. He's going to like that's just kind of how I see. his career going if he was a full-time starter. And I think more teams would have went after him too. Like he's been available. He's been the backup for 6 years, I think. There, like, why not make a run for him if another team was like really interested? Uh, but I do think he's a good backup.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like that tread water, keep you in it type
Hmm.
quarterback. Yeah, he's not gonna throw a whole lot of interceptions. Maybe like the first couple games he's back in, but uh, past 3 games he has 1 interception and 6 touchdowns.
Hmm.
But not many yards. His completion percentage is less than 60%. But I mean, he doesn't make mistakes. He treads the water. Yeah, he's not a bad
He
backup
knows the
quarterback.
system, basically.
Yeah,
Like he's,
exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
and that's where I was just saying, like, I don't know. It was a fun little theory to throw out there
Oh,
just to
absolutely.
see.
I mean, that's why I would say like if you really want to throw it all away and start new, you
Hmm.
go Trey Lance. Like he's the youngest, he's the most
Right.
explosive, and he'll at least put asses in the seat for
Oh
five
yeah,
games before people realize, maybe Trey Lance isn't it. I don't want to see him fumble the ball around 6 times,
Right.
but maybe like that's what I mean is like the development in this league. We gave him 6 chances and determined
Hmm.
he was terrible. Okay, if I had 6 chances at my job, I don't know if I even would be there.
Right.
I've said stuff is like, hey, let's try this. Doesn't work. So that now I'm down to 5, and that was just within my first week. You know what I mean?
yeah. I agree. I agree. If you pull up Geno Smith early stats of Geno Smith, there were some
He's
horrendous grain like games, just horrendous, and he's really turned it around. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
Trey
good for
Lance.
Gino. I like
Yeah,
Gino.
hell yeah.
He's one of those
Glad you got hurt.
solid guys. You start building a young core around, and then you get your young quarterback to take you to the playoffs.
Right.
That seems to be the mold right now.
Yeah,
To get like the 49ers had Brock Purdy on his rookie deal. The Eagles had Jalen Hurts on his rookie deal. Kind of little correlation there. And then you have Patrick Mahomes. You just kind of throw him out.
Right.
yeah. I think a lot of teams are doing that though.
He's one of those data points that are that skew everything that you kind of same with Tom Brady.
Hmm.
You have one of those fluke data points,
Yeah.
but
That is the way to do it. You stack your team though under the 4-year rookie deal. Like the Commanders, I'm sure will just continue to build off
yeah,
that.
that's why I want to talk about this next game.
Right. Well, let's
But
get right
no,
into it.
yeah, sure. But kind of for the same reason as Mitch, the Commanders and the Saints, like the players, the situation each team was in, very unique. Um, it was just an overall interesting game at first. On If you turned on the game the first maybe 10, 20 minutes, Commanders absolutely blowing the brakes off of the Saints with was it Jake Hayner?
Right.
And
Mhm.
then I don't know what let's put it this way. I don't know what that decision was from the head coach Rizzi to put in Hayner instead of Spencer Rattler, because Spencer Rattler actually has some spark to him. That like we were just
Right.
talking about backup quarterbacks. What you look for, you want to see a spark in your team. That's kind of what Spencer Rattler did. But my main focus, kind of this game, was with the Commanders because they're hunting for the playoffs right now.
Right.
First time since 1992 that they had, I think, a 9-5 record. Uh, which that's a long time. Uh, and now they're hunting for the playoffs. Obviously picked up the most, I would say, NFL impactful QB right now with the speed you see it. Like Jaden Daniels, he looks like a young Lamar back there, just kind of shifty, throwing it. I mean, he's raw. I mean,
Right.
Lamar was raw for 4 or 5 years,
I
and
was
now
gonna
look
say
at him.
for
Just
a little bit,
he
yeah.
rips off MVPs for breakfast.
Hmm.
Just throwing off 5 touchdowns. And Jane Daniels is showing some of that. I think this game, even though it came down to the wire, was really could have been close. They missed a couple touchdown passes to Terry
Hmm.
McLaurin. I think if I would go back and calculate that, they were like probably 3 yards from more like a 3-score game. Miss Terry McLaurin. but Jaden Daniels looking good. Uh, uses his legs, still raw, but I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Jaden Daniels. But I think on that note, with rookie QB Spencer Rattler should start right now for the Saints.
Yeah, if we had Brian
Yeah.
here, he would be all about this. He loves
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler.
No, I mean I'm not gonna say I love Spencer Rattler, but I love a different look to a team that has really nothing to play for. Get
Right.
your guys excited for the next year. Get them excited for something. Sometimes I think that's what lacks in these teams is that excitement, like the Lions.
Hmm.
10, 15 years they were just they had the mentality of losers. You get someone in there with a different mentality, feel gets the boys hyped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like
Ex
these
number one
guys
pick.
aren't physically talented different. It's sometimes motivation
Hmm.
Yeah.
or something to play
It's
for.
just a change of scene sometimes, even like you just
Yeah.
need that, like something different.
But I mean, just going off this game too, I mean, Alvin Kamara hurt now, but my God,
He's still a goat.
he's still a beast. How about that
Free beer for
one-handed
life, baby.
catch? What's that?
His deal, he gets free beer for life. So
As
pretty
he
sick.
should with my God. Like some of the things he does is unreal. And then him getting hurt and then they have Miller in there. He's like a
Mhm.
mini Kamara.
Mhm.
Uh I actually drafted him last year for my fantasy team hoping he'd like start splitting carries, but dude, Alvin Kamara is not slowing down. In fact, I think he's actually just getting started.
Yeah. Well, Miller said in that interview, like right after they fired Dennis Allen, was like, "Yeah, Dennis Allen hated me, so like that's why I didn't play."
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, he
Dude,
was super happy.
his speed, like he like Jameer Gibbs, like
Hmm.
sometimes you look at those guys and you're like, that's a fast guy.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, Kamara obviously fast, shifty, but that Miller, he's gonna be that next in line. Kamara, if they kind of just kept that same offense, they need to find a quarterback for that offense. Derek Carr, he's I would say Cooper Rush improvement.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah.
but you throw in Spencer Rattler,
He's fun, dude. He's fun.
at
He can
least
move.
you get some fun games. You know
Right.
what I
Hmm.
mean? Like that's what you got to get your fans excited. Like I'll just use it as like from a Colts perspective. When we drafted Anthony Richardson, that's fun. But when you're throwing in 35, 40-year-old quarterbacks for 2 years,
Right.
that's not fun. That like just keeping the games fun sometimes is beneficial to the fans and the players.
Right.
But really, this game shouldn't have been as close as it needed to be.
Hmm.
Um,
I I think that shows, sorry to cut you off here, but I think
no,
that
no,
shows
you're good.
where the Commanders are lacking. Like, yeah, they might make the playoffs, but I think they still need to build in their team. Like early on,
Hmm.
it was like, oh, they have all
Hmm.
these key weapons and like they have key defensive guys, but they still need like even just depth into it, like rotating guys in and out. Like, because I mean, at this point in the season, I think you can see like their key players, they're
Yeah.
getting tired. Like,
Well, they're old too. Yeah, their defense is
right,
old.
they're
Bobby
They
the
are,
Wagner.
order,
but
they're
but like kind of with the Lions thing, you know, you lose so long, and they have something excited for next year.
right.
They're like, we
Hmm.
got something going. You build that confidence. Um, do I think they may? Let's put it this way: I think they'll make the playoffs, but I believe they'll get blown out
Right.
first game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a someone in our league who's a big Commanders fan, and he was like, if the Commanders just make the playoffs, like that's winning the Super Bowl for us. Like,
It's a first step. Like
right.
you gotta have
Fact.
first steps. You gotta have something to you gotta have goals. Don't get me wrong. Like your goal should always be winning the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
but you take your small victories and then
Right.
you compound them. And the Lions are the perfect example.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Do you think more teams, just like real quick, do you think more teams, because we were talking about how like the Saints have two good running backs, do you think more teams will start doing like what the Lions do, where like it's two stud running backs and they are like dedicated to both of them getting, 15 touches a game, 20 touches a game?
I think the Lions are unique in the sense that their offensive line is
Strong
very
enough.
solid
Yeah.
and and a testament to the like credit to the Lions. I think they've planned this out for a couple years. When everybody was like, "Why the hell would you draft Jahmyr Gibbs?" They knew why the hell they were drafting Jahmyr Gibbs,
Right.
and
Part of
like,
their game plan.
and I guess it puts it in the sense that like sometimes teams will do stuff because it's the norm or the meta, if you want to say, like draft a quarterback early, draft this. No, the Lions said, screw that. We want our guy, and look where they are now. And I think that's where a lot of teams should head up is like, this guy's going to make our team better for this, and this reason, opposed to let's just draft the quote unquote best guy
Right.
Yeah.
on a piece of paper. Where Jahmyr Gibbs, like, let's put it this way, like Brian Robinson Jr. for the Commanders going back into this game is solid, very solid running back. Like, but I think him, Jaden Daniels, like if they get something with like a Ravens type flow or that sort, you kind of have like your
Mhm.
Derrick Henry. Like, look at like having Derrick Henry for Lamar Jackson. He's thrown
Yeah.
35 touchdown passes.
Right.
Same thing. You got to get a running game. Like I think the Commanders are on the right path. I think the Saints are actually on the right path. This is why I wanted like they're both on the right path. Both teams very raw. Saints going through a coaching change. Commanders definitely next up. I think this is where like this whole game. Commanders are next up. They prove that they can win even in like you know like that tough end of game circumstance. They got
Mhm.
screwed by the clock. They battled.
Right.
What but yeah, Jaden Daniels next up. Spencer Rattler.
Put him in.
Put him
I
in
like-
for sure. Put
Yeah.
him in for sure. Let me see about 8 games, and then I'll say, I'm not gonna like say, hey, let QBs develop, and then not let him develop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at least give him like consecutive games. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah. Everyone forgets about him getting benched for Caleb Williams, and then everyone forgot about him.
Yep. Also heard he was a dick in high school.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen those videos of his whatever show he was on.
Oh yeah. Also, he has a punchable face.
He does very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah. So sometimes, you ever watch Moneyball?
Mhm.
You watch Moneyball, it's
Mhm.
like this guy doesn't look good. He don't have. Sometimes that's how teams recruit, and it's not great.
Yeah.
But if you want to win,
For him.
you
gotta-
put in the stuff that you're building for.
Right. Well, let's get into our last segment here. We have our normal upsets and locks of the week. Just a reminder to the fans out there how this works is we will go through next week's games, pick a game that we think is going to upset the favorite, and pick a game that is just a lock that team cannot lose. So, Dill, why don't you go ahead and get us started?
All right. I suppose I can do that. Geez, I got a couple here. Okay. I'll go with my lock because I'm so far behind in our standings regardless. I'm going to go Bills over Patriots, even though I have a bad feeling that the Bills are just below that fucking game. But I'll go my lock is Bills over Patriots. Don't let me down, Bills. I'll be kind of pissed. And my upset, man, this is close. This is close. Gimme, man, I don't want to say that. I really want to pick Bears over Lions, but I don't know about Lions losing back to back. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, give me Bears over Lions.
Oof. I don't
Give
know
it
that
to
I
me.
like that one, Dill.
Give it to me. Bears over Lions. Upset, baby.
Interesting. Tough pick. I don't
Yeah,
know.
those are. I would definitely say. Now, are you going off spread, or are you just going straight up winners?
Straight up winners.
Straight up winners. Okay, because, yeah, I mean, if you're going straight up winners, Bills will definitely beat the Patriots. I agree with that.
Watch this be the game where the Patriots score like 40 and the Bills can do nothing against them. Like,
I mean,
what is their
like that's
spread?
the thing with the Bills, though. Like they very well could.
Yeah. What is the spread on that game?
It's like 14.5.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like usually betting those big ones, but damn, the Ravens had one last week, the 16.5, and I should have bet it because they fucking killed the Giants.
All right, Rye, how about you give us your upsets and locks here?
All right, so going off that, I did my locks and upsets based on spreads
Hmm.
and the odds. So Detroit is a 6.5 favorite on DraftKings. That is my lock. Detroit just absolutely owns the Bears right
Right.
now. The Bears, yeah, they're still fighting, but after this loss, the Lions have something to prove. They want to lock it down. They got to get playoff ready,
Does
basically.
it scare you at all that it's at the Bears?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Um, 46.5 is the over under. Like
Mm.
realistically, they would think the Detroit, like the sports books, let's put it this way, the sports books would think the Lions score 27 and the Bears 20. The Bears are not scoring 20.
No.
The Bears
And
are not scoring 20.
I think this
Uh,
would be a good one to take the under for personally.
I do too. I do too. But just in terms of what I like for this game,
Mhm.
I personally bet the Lions at 6.5 because I feel like that line's gonna move to 7.5,
Right.
possibly 8. Um, but my actual upset, I actually have two, is and these are straight out, no, not covering spreads, but Panthers beating the Cardinals
Hmm.
and Denver beating Los Angeles Chargers. The Panthers, I just think right now they're playing for pride. They
Hmm.
have stuff clicking. I think they want to keep that moving. They have Bryce Young. Um, the Chargers sometimes are hit or miss. Like, and the Panthers feel like that upset team. Don't like I said, NFL players, everybody is the same talent. You just
Right.
have those one or two guys that maybe make that difference maker or something clicks. But I think the Panthers have been playing fairly well.
Hmm.
And it's just one of those NFL games that I like the Panthers. And same with Denver. Uh Denver over the Chargers. They're they're looking good. Bo Nix looks good. Uh I think the Chargers are due just for just a little heartbreak. The
Right.
Chargers